Last Dance is the third installment in this Venom franchise trilogy that exists in the Sony spin-off Spider-Verse that we have going on. In this movie, the creator of the symbiote, the creator of Venom, known as Null, he's been trapped in this dimension. He's been trying to escape for a while, and we have learned that apparently Eddie Brock and Venom in their symbiote have something, in their symbiosis I should say, have something that would get Null out of the dimension and allow him to retake control of the universe, the symbiotes, everything. So he sends a bunch of alien hunters to go find Venom, take down Venom. Eddie Brock's also on the run from the military who want to find the symbiote and turn that into a weapon. All the while, their bromance, shenanigans, and adventure ensues. These Venom movies just have never really done it for me. I've kind of just seen them as wasted potential. I do like Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock. I do love the bromance and the chemistry between Eddie Brock and Venom. But you know, they've always just felt like movies that are really trying to promise us something like, you know, different and exciting and new. Like, I thought a Venom movie, or at least one Venom movie, would be rated R, so we could really see the brutality of the Venom character. I thought eventually we would possibly see Spider-Man in one of these Venom movies. Perhaps Tom Holland's Spider-Man in one of these movies. We got all these hints and all these things were gonna happen, and then we just kind of got let down along the way. So I went into Venom The Last Dance not really with a lot of expectations. I mean, it's marketed as the last one in this trilogy of sorts, so I didn't really know what to expect. So yeah, right out the gate, I'll say this much. Eddie Brock and Venom, their bromance, their chemistry, it's still good. And Tom Hardy, he clearly enjoys this role. He clearly likes this character. He gives it his all. And I'll just skip ahead to the final act. I'm going to say right now, the final act of this movie, I think was the best part of this movie. I mean, that's where the action really breaks out. They do some actually pretty cool shit with the symbiotes. You know, that's where the heart in this movie I really felt came through the most. Not gonna say the heart in this movie absolutely hit me like a ton of bricks or anything like that, but I didn't not feel anything. You feel like the studio really had something there in the makings for a really solid send-off for Eddie Brock and Venom in that finale. The problem, however, is the journey leading up to that grand finale. Well, it's underwhelming to say the least. First of all, I will say, the movie like completely hones into its silliness that we've seen in this Venom franchise, and if you like that shit, if you were entertained by that shit in the previous Venom movies, you'll still like it here. I'm someone it's never entirely worked for me, so I mean, there are a couple moments where I laughed, I enjoyed myself. Other times I was like, okay, this is just dumb. Rolling up to it though, I do like the idea that these like alien hunters that are sent after Venom, they can only see Venom once he's fully transformed with Eddie Brock, so you know, it means they have to kind of be a little bit on, you know, the low. They gotta be, you know, walking a beat downtown basically. You know, they can't fully transform or it gives away their appearance. They gotta kind of figure out how to work together without fully transforming. Provided some dynamic to the movie that I thought was kind of interesting until I remembered, well, I mean, it's not like Eddie Brock just walks around town all the time with, you know, Venom fully out. I mean, Venom really only comes out when they're chasing bad guys. So, I mean, it's not like something they've necessarily had to overcome before. And ultimately, the road leading up to it is just really all over the map. Like, for a while, none of it really feels like it's leading towards anything. None of it's really building on anything that makes you care. I mean, yeah, Venom, like, attached himself to some other creatures. It makes these Venom-looking animals that, you know, Eddie Brock's traveling across with. I mean, is it cool? I guess kind of. Does it provide anything to the story? Not really. It was just, let's throw something in there for filler. And hell, there's this family that they run into whose dad is played by the guy who is the Lizard in The Amazing Spider-Man, so I thought that was kind of cool. It's a nice little Easter egg for the Spider fans out there. But that being said, like, he gets picked up by this family, he essentially hitchhikes with them for a little bit, and you feel like it's meant to create this bond with this family. You know, you feel like they're maybe kind of trying to take the Logan route a little bit. But I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really care about this family. I didn't care about what they were trying to do, what they were pursuing in their little vacation. I didn't really care about the dynamic that Eddie is supposed to be building with, you know, the dad. And then there's another point in the movie where Eddie takes a pit stop in Vegas and they run into Mrs. Chen, and Mrs. Chen and Venom have to have a little dance number together. Again, they want to have Mrs. Chen in here because Mrs. Chen's been a part of the last two Venom movies, but I mean, did she need to be in here? Not really. They just need to throw a little dance sequence in here just for the fuck of it. Like, again, it really feels like the movie didn't have a real clear story to send off Eddie Brock and Venom with. Like, they had a final act. They didn't know what else to do. I mean, hell, even the side story with the military, I mean, I feel like we were supposed to give more of a shit for them and what they're trying to figure out with the symbiotes. but I never really cared. Chiwetel Ejiofor is a great actor. Does he do much in this movie? Not really. One of the military chicks in this movie, I mean, there's supposed to be like some kind of backstory she has with her brother that I think it's supposed to make you care about her or make you believe she's got some sort of gift to her or something like that. You know, she has a stance on like the symbiotes and their mission and everything like that, but again, I didn't feel like she provided anything to the story. I didn't care about her character. I mean, hell, there's one other military chick that's in this movie, and you feel like she's kind of more against the whole symbiote project. I don't know, do I have the two characters mixed up? Was one for it and was the other against it? That's how forgettable this movie kind of is. Or really how forgettable the side characters in this movie are. And hell, speaking of forgettable side characters, I mean, Null was really, like, labeled as, like, a big baddie that's gonna be in this movie. Like, when he gets out of his dimension, he's gonna wreck shit, he's gonna be a mess, he's gonna be a monster. And sure, maybe this movie is trying to act as setup for whatever future Sony Spider-Verse movies they're making, you know, for whatever reason. But that being said, I'm not even so sure if those are gonna happen. Like, what, are we just trying to set up Null to be like the big baddie of this, you know, spin-off Spider universe that's going on for Sony? I have no idea, and if they are, I mean, I don't know what he's gonna do later. I don't know what he's gonna fight. I mean, is it gonna be more Venom, even though this was kind of marketed to be the last one? I just don't know. It feels directionless. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna talk about it once again. The fact that the movie's not rated R really holds back on some really brutal, fun, bloody action that you could do with Venom that frankly should be in a Venom movie. The fact that they pissed that idea away all 3 times, it just annoys me. So all in all, Venom: The Last Dance, it was just underwhelming. I appreciate Tom Hardy coming in and giving his all. He clearly loves this character. He likes playing this character. He said he'd be down to come back, so I guess we'll see what happens there. Had an enjoyable final act that actually had some decent emotion to it. But that being said, the road leading up to it is directionless and just messy. I didn't care for any of the side characters that were introduced. You know, the family, the military people, you know, the people that we've seen in previous Venom movies. I don't feel any of them really brought anything into this. Null, I felt, was a very wasted villain, despite how cool and filled with potential that he was. The complaints I had with previous Venom movies still stand in this one, that's for sure. I won't even say the road leading up to that big final act is necessarily bad, it's just, it's not good. I mean, yeah, some of the silliness along the way is, you know, enjoyable or funny. Some of it, for me, was just kind of stupid. Is it the best Venom movie? I would say probably, but I also would say it's not really saying much. Hell, is it the best movie in this Sony Spider-Man spin-off universe? Yeah, probably. But considering that that list also consists of Morbius and Madam Web, that's probably saying even less. In the end, guys, it's like this. If you like the Venom movies, if you like how silly they are and how dumb they are and everything that's just gone with it, everything that went into the previous 2, you'll probably enjoy this movie. But if you're like me and the previous 2 didn't really do it for you, this one's not going to do it for you either. I hope with any future Spider-Man project we get, whether it's in the MCU or it's not, and it might involve Venom once again, I really hope they just execute it better, because I really want Venom to be in a great Spider-Man project, because he deserves to be. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video, and as always, don't forget to make comments, like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.